Good afternoon. I'm 59 years old now. I'm so lucky to be in the field of stem cell research. Started everything in 1985, 35 years ago, and in Switzerland and Germany, and with wide exposure in the Soviet Union in the old days, where we do human stem cells, those days, okay? And in the later part, with the Germans and the Swiss, we are so much involved in cell therapy, where we use animals. That will be the sheep, and in the later part, the rabbits, okay? So I'm open to all the questions in the later part. The booth is just at the back there. Now, basically, everyone heard a lot about stem cells, okay? And I have to say that even with stem cells, it's not a magic bullet. It's not a total fountain of youth. You have to know to use it at the right time with the right type of stem cells, and together with different kind of complementary of treatments together. Just to tell you a bit of our background, we are manufacturers, we are developers, we are cell biologists, so we do a lot of research, and we do a lot of manufacturing in Switzerland and Germany, mostly, predominantly in Europe. And we do educations, because we never have marketing people. We don't have a sales manager. We never have a marketing person. So how do we create the awareness? It's totally by free education to physicians all over the world. I've been to 65 countries all over the world for education together with my team of professors and doctors to disperse knowledge widely in the field of regenerative medicine and stem cells. Now, of course, we own pharmaceutical plants in Germany and Switzerland. We do produce certain drugs, but we also produce certain non-drugs products to the world, okay? And we recently, 10 years ago, we started to acquire hospitals and clinics in Switzerland and Germany. I'm the ex-owner of Paracelsus Clinic, which is quite popular in the US side, where there's a lot of doctors who go there for biological medicine. I officially sold off Paracelsus 2 months ago, or it started 2 years ago when I sold it off. We bought over our competitors in Germany. And why we make the move is because there was some recent change of laws in Switzerland on cell therapy, and then they readjust back with the court order. And there's a lot of things ongoing. You have to understand the laws in different countries have different applications. Okay? For example, in USA, stem cell is not allowed, okay, at this moment. So they have to move out of US soil to do the stem cell in Mexico or Bahamas or somewhere else, okay? But stem cells in Germany or even in Switzerland, there are different laws again. And in Asia too. So in the case of Switzerland until today, they never allow stem cells even for autologous. That means even from your own blood is not allowed, let alone allogenic. So it's totally not allowed today, but they allow the animal cell therapy. So you see the laws are so different in different countries. Same for Germany, okay? You need certain applications, but all I want to say is if you want to talk about stem cells manufacturing, you must be GMP. You can't go without GMP because we cannot compromise quality here. If you want results, you must have the best quality, okay? So through our experience of running 21 centers across the world, okay, including the Villa Medical Hospital, where we treat 65,000 patients since 58 years ago. We have a lot of wide experience sharing with different disorders, okay? Now, what do you mean by biological regenerative medicine, in short, BRM? Okay, we have been involved so much in this. Stem cells is part of biological medicine. It's a biological therapy. And I like to use the word therapy is because I don't like to use the word product, because the classification of a product will be going into like a drug, okay? So it is a therapy. It's an individualized form of therapy where every one of us are given prescriptions of cell according to your health condition by the attending physicians. This is totally allowed in Europe, okay? Of course, again, the laws may be different in USA. So we must always go together with the law. Now, in biological medicine, we always believe that your body can heal by itself. That is important. Your body is a wonderful system that they can heal by itself, the organs and tissue to a certain extent. But you have to know which part. For example, what we are trying to do is to find the root of the symptoms and treat the root, and not just to treat the symptoms. Example, you cannot sleep most of the time. You're under stress. Why is it you cannot sleep? Because the pineal gland never releases the melatonin after 9 o'clock. So if you don't have the melatonin, obviously you will keep awake. Okay? Now, some of us will say, oh, I have to rely, I have to work, I have to take sleeping pills. Okay? So I have a lot of high-end executives, they say, Mike, you have to understand, if I don't take the sleeping pills, tomorrow I cannot work at all, which is also true. Okay? So our way of treatment will be, we have to fine-tune the pituitary gland in your head, okay? Even in our clinic, while you are sitting on a chair, you will sleep. Obviously, when you go back, you will obviously sleep then. Okay? Now, we are going to give you the pineal gland. When we give you the pineal gland, you will sleep over time. So that's how we adjust it, okay? We always believe that if we can treat it the natural way inside your body, we do not need to rely on exogenous way of treating. That means we do not use external hormones too. We do not believe in HRT until the last resort. That means to say we can fine-tune your body by fine-tuning the pituitary gland to send a message down to the adrenals, which also control your sex hormones to release the hormones from your body. That means to send to the gonads, that will be your ovary and the testes. Okay? Now, for the male, after 40 and even for the female, you will lose your sex hormones, you will lose your hormones by 1 to 2% yearly. After 40, you also lose 10,000 brain cells a day. So we are aging very fast. Please understand that. Every organ is aging. Now, do understand in your system, you have 10 different types of system. It's not just the immune system here. So what you have here is that you also have to understand the system itself controls your body. Your health depends on the system. But what is inside the system is the organs and tissues. Okay? The organs and tissue. So you are having aging organs and tissue in your body. So what are you going to do here? And what is inside? All the cells there. All the cells is inside. So you obviously have to fine-tune the cells before you can even talk of regeneration. You have to regenerate the cells because your cells are also aging. Okay? If you repair at the cellular level, you will repair the organs and tissue. So that is very important. You can use all kinds of supplements. You can use all kinds of treatments. You can use NAD. You can use senolytics. You can use everything. But you still need to repair at the cellular level. And that you need the cells. Nothing works better than the cells in this sense because it's a missing part. Okay? I'll go further to explain on that. Now, your body starts to go downhill. You can imagine how you age. You are aging. Your brain starts to age at 20. Do you know that? And there are 67 different cells in your brain. And the frontal lobe itself only starts to be fully developed by the age of 25. But at 20, you're already aged. So this is something you have to understand too. Now, it's not just the brain you're aging. You realize everything is aging. Everything is coming in. Okay, the fertility of a male and female age at 35. Your hair starts to age at 30. That means your hair starts to drop at 30. Okay, can you imagine that? I'm lucky, my hair is original. Okay, it's still black, and I don't have gray hair. Now, let's look at it. Look at all these organs here. Every part is aging. So if one part is aging, they may have an impact on the other part because there's a chain reaction with everything. So you have to find which part you're facing with, and we're going to repair them at the cellular level, target specific to the organs and tissue. Okay, just a general understanding. You are born with 37.2 trillions of cells in your body. That's a lot of cells over the 220 organs and tissue in your body. Okay, out of the 220 organs and tissue, you have around over 400 different types of cells. So we are going to go into very specific here. Now, again, you heard of the magic word stem cells. The moment they have stem cells, even with the stem cell cream or stem cell shampoo, you sell better. Right? The price is more expensive. But at the end of the day, it's only a word. It's only a labeling. Don't trust the word or the labeling. You cannot trust everything on the internet. If there's nothing on the lab report to prove, I will never trust it. I must always read the label and understand more on the active ingredients in that label. Now, please understand, when you are born, out of the 37.2 trillions of life cells in the body, they are also stem cells all over your body, all over your organs and tissue. You have one stem cells over 10,000 live cells in your body when you're born, up to 2 years old. Okay? By the age of 18, the cells has already dropped very much. You're only left with 45% of your stem cells. At the age of 18, when you just reach adolescence. And by the age of 30, you only have 30% left, or 25%. That's a very astronomical drop here. By the age of 60, you only have 5% left of your stem cells. Now, what is the difference between stem cells and live cells? The stem cells are also live cells. Imagine the stem cell as the queen bees. The live cells will be the bees. Obviously, the queen bee will be the stronger one because they have all the nutrition from the bees. So just imagine when you die, you have 0 stem cells. There's no more stem cells in your body when you die. So at the age of 60 and further, you're having very little amount of stem cells. That is the reason why you need stem cells rejuvenation. You need to rejuvenate the organs and tissues. Now, I've already explained on this. You can see that. Just imagine how you drop at the age of 30, 25. And this is going at a very fast speed. And I repeat again, we are all aging at a very fast speed. We heard of the forever man just now, Bill. He's forever, okay? So I also believe that you must be forever young too. I always believing in that. Life is beautiful, you must be young all the time. So how do you keep yourself young? Your organs and tissue must be regenerated. Otherwise, you will age. So you must regenerate at the target specific site of every organs and tissue where they are aging. This is how we do the repair here. Now, again, general understanding of stem cell for the layman or even for the doctors, okay? Everyone will say they do a cell renewal. Yes, I would say that totally, yes. But again, it depends on the quality of the stem cells. Number 2, they are unspecialized and can give rise to specialized cells. My answer will be true and at the same time false. It depends what type of stem cells. There's so many types of stem cells. Please understand that, okay? Now, some stem cells will not specialize into other cells. Don't ever think that the stem cells you have will turn into all the different kinds of stem cells in your body. No. It depends what type of stem cells. Okay? Certain stem cells have undergone certain process of aging. They will not turn. So the answer will be true and false. Next, it will be the next slide will explain further. Now, divide and differentiated into specialized cells. Some will divide, some will never divide. It depends what type of stem cells. We are talking about embryonic stem cells. Okay? They are pluripotent, like in my next slide. They will divide into all kinds of cells. But there's a risk with embryonic stem cells, we all know that. They can act like a cancer cells. Okay? And we all have to also understand there's cancer cells in our body the moment we are born. You are born with cancer cells. So how do you keep yourself away from cancer? It's coming in 1 out of 4. It's such an alarming rate, and in USA it could be even 2 out of 5. So how do you keep the cancer cells suppressed? You have to monitor your health very well. You have to look at your lab report and the cancer markers. You have to, at the same time, okay, ensure that your immune system is at the top level. And how do you make sure you have a strong immune system? When you have a very strong immune system, you will never have cancer. So we can use certain things to super boost your immune system. Okay? Increase the aging NK cells, activate them, and fight off the senescent cells, kill off the senescent cells. Then the cancer cells will be weak. Okay, this will be another later topic. I mean, you can come to me later because this is on stem cells now. Now, then you have the pluripotent cells I've already explained in the other cells. What about the multipotent cells? The multipotent cells means they will normally turn into only 7 different types of stem cells in the body. And they're mainly for the joints, the tendons, the ligaments. That means the osteoblasts and the chondroblasts. They may turn. I use the word may. I didn't say they will turn. Please understand, sometimes they don't turn. So sometimes when you do a treatment for your knees, it seems to be working. Sometimes it don't seem to be working when you inject mesenchymal cells. Because mesenchymal cells are not cartilage cells. Mesenchymal cells are not bone or joints. So you have to understand that it may turn or it may not turn. Of course, there's other alternative. You can give the direct mesenchyme or you can give the synovial, you can give the bones and the joints. That means you're giving an A to an A and B to a B and C to a C. That is very important. Okay, the way of treating is very, very important. But that depends on the way you diagnose the patient too. Okay, now there was another type of cells where many people was not so aware of it. We call it unipotent. Now the word uni already tell you is one. These are what we call the precursors or progenitor cells. If you Google internet, you will see a lot of studies on progenitor stem cells. Okay, now what do you mean by that? These are cells in the final stage of differentiation. They are still undifferentiated cells, but in the final stage. That means they are in the final lineage, one lineage. That means one ticket, a ticket of no return. That means they are already turning into, let's say for the liver, it will be the liver cells, the hepatocyte. In the case of the heart, it will be the heart cells. Now, you will never expect the heart cells to return it back into embryonic cells. Okay, studies are being done. We call it iPSC, induced pluripotent stem cells. The Japanese came up with this, and now the Germans are going very hard on all this. I'm very much involved in Heidelberg University on immunology and doing iPSC on our side, in the European side. The Europeans are quite ahead in a lot of things also with iPSC for information. Okay, now, again, a general understanding for the layman or even for the doctors, okay, for you to understand more. In the case of umbilical cord blood, when you take the cord blood, okay, you can take it, the Wharton jellies too from the cord blood. What do you find there? You will find the mesenchymal cells. And you will find some small amount of hematopoietic cells, blood stem cells, okay? Those are for blood disorder like leukemia and thalassemia, okay? Now, you will find the mesenchymal cells and you probably use it, you store it, or you keep it, or you treat for other disorder. But there isn't any eye cells, there isn't any liver cells, there isn't any heart cells or brain cells there. So if you are expecting the mesenchymal cells to turn into the heart cells, my answer will be no. Okay, because we do our research for 35 years in umbilical cord blood in the old days. I told you we use human. We also use human and animals. Okay, we have both. We do the autologous, we do the allogenic on human, we also do the animal. We look into all the possibilities. The main thing is to give the results. But before the results, let's talk about safety first. If there's no safety, don't talk about results. So safety is the main part and then the results. Now, again, you heard of autologous. Now, I don't take from the umbilical cord blood, I take from yourself. I can take from the patient. I can take from the fats. I can take from the peripheral blood. Okay, but what do I get there? Again, mesenchymal cells. Mesenchymal cells is only one out of the 400 over different types of cells in your body. We had to be very specific here, okay? Now, again, if I'm 59 years old, and then I have my son, and my grandson, I will take the cells from there. The quality will be better. Remember, Bill Fallon was saying about young blood, young plasma. He's talking about plasma, the blood itself. Now, can you imagine the stem cells of a younger person given to you? Of course, the result will be even better, right? Okay. Now, the next thing is something very new here. Everyone is fantasizing. Okay, a lot of us in the industry are talking a lot. They're saying we have iPSC technology. You have the technology, but you don't have the therapy yet. The reality of iPSC, induced pluripotent cells, is still in the amateur stage. Okay, they have managed, the Japanese who started it, and now the Germans too, they have been turning the embryonic cells, making them into embryonic cells from the progenitor cells. When I say progenitor, the mesenchymal cells, they took it from the bone marrow normally, and they turn it back to the embryonic stage. And now they're expecting to turn it from the embryonic stage to any cells they want. You still need time for that. The reality will be 20 years from now, in my professional opinion, and my exchange of opinions with other professors and experts in this field, especially with the Europeans. Okay. Now, there's another thing you can consider will be the progenitor or the precursor stem cells. You don't hear very much in the US soil here, okay? You don't hear at all most of the time because these are coming mainly, you can't do it on the human today. You cannot kill a human for their organs and tissue. They used to do that in Soviet Unions, and in certain parts of the world, unfortunately, they are. They are people who use human organs, for your information. Okay, that could also probably explain of missing children. You find organs available, but the children are missing. Okay, so the children may not be missing due to into sex prostitution. It could be another reason why children are missing for the organs. This happened also in Asia, for information, and in Russia or even in China. Okay, there are certain parties who still do the human fetuses. I would say that, but on our side, it's totally unethical. We will not believe in that. So how do you go with all this? After the break-off of the Soviet Union, a lot of the top scientists, it was the Soviets who started stem cells. It wasn't the Americans or the Asians or the Europeans. The Europeans start the cell therapy, but the Soviets start the stem cells. So my education with all my master in the old days together with my wife was to learn everything, review everything, we do the human fetuses. But being a Roman Catholic, I don't believe in sacrificing a human for another human. On top of that, in our technology, we need 60 fetuses to make one 5 ml wire. One 5 ml wire of a hepatocyte needs 60 fetuses to procure. That's why the efficacy is very, very strong. Okay. Now, next. Sorry, it's getting very... Oh. This is something from us. I hope you can understand, even for the doctors. Okay. Now, in the fetus stage, after organogenesis, please understand the word. Organogenesis means all the organs, all the tissues are formed in the body, the 220 of them. Okay? In the fetus stage, cells of all animals, including human, sitting on top of the animal kingdom, they are all alike. Now, humans are animal, the most intelligent animal, for your information. We are animal in a lot of ways. Okay? So if you are going to take from the fetal stage, you are going to talk about cell xenotransplantation, there is no rejection. For your information, we've been treating hundreds and thousands of children, of Down syndrome children as young as 6 weeks old, or autistic children who are 3 or 4 years old, or many other children of neuro disorder. Okay, they are so young, they are injected with the stem cells of the brain. You see the improvement in the brain. Why? Because it's a brain disorder. Obviously, you have to give the brain cells. Okay? There is zero anaphylactic shock. Despite everyone is saying, oh, there will be anaphylactic shock. We can invite any one of you here one of these days when there's a stem cell implantation to view it for yourself. Okay, you can also check with the testimonials of patients who have done the stem cells all over the world. Okay, it is something which was created out to create some fear, but it has never happened before in my dictionary of 35 years experience. Now, next, let's talk about human and animal here. When in the fetal stage, they are very close alike. That means you see the structure of the islets of the Langerhans from the pancreas, or from the brain, or from the liver. You can notice they are very close and alike. So the best time to take the cells, it should be at the fetal stage. That is the best time. Not when the cells are, when the baby is born. When the baby is born, antigenicity sets in. Because the baby would have sucked the milk of the mother. The milk will fill with the bacteria and fill up the stomach. So that is the reason why it's good to do it in the fetal stage. Okay? Now, people is now asking, can you prove that there's something, you inject the brain cells on my buttock and will it go to the brain? There's a lot of study has been done. Many studies, okay? There's a lot of studies proving that within 48 to 72 hours, they're home. And this is some of the study done where they prove that has been home too, including Parkinson patient. Yes, I'll finish in shortly 5 minutes. Okay. Now, the new thing in the world. 2 minutes. Okay, specific pathogen-free. The animals' products are all free of pathogens. Some of us have to understand more. This is the future of medicine. All animals' products must be SPF or VAF. Antigen-free too, okay? These are virus antigen. There's zero virus. They're even safer than the human materials. Now, on my side, I use the human and I use the animal at the same time. I use both. I can even blend them together. And I manufacture both the peptides, the exosomes, the stem cells, and the cells. Okay? The exosomes are already in the cells. The cells and the stem cells are secreting the exosomes all the time. Do understand that. You have them all the time. Now, Japan, A top country with Nobel Prize in stem cell research recently and quietly started 86 studies now on animal to human. 81 of them is on pigs to human. So be aware, technologies are changing in different parts of the world. They are doing human, but why are they moving to animal too? It's because they say we cannot get the islets of the Langerhans of the pancreas for diabetes type 1 and type 2. It's true, you cannot kill another human. So how are you going to get that? And I cannot get the medulla alba or the substantial nigra to treat in the case of Parkinson patient. I have to get it from somewhere else, okay? So the anatomy, you have to understand, like in the case of Parkinson, you need the substantial nigra. Otherwise, you have to rely on the dopamine. If I were to give you the substantial nigra, you don't need the dopamine. It can be reduced. When we treat Parkinson patients, we reduce the dopamine intake by 70% after 6 months. So you're doing a progression, you're doing a delay of the progression of the disease. You do a reversal of the disease when it's going down like this, reverse it, and then it goes down and start to go, we pull it out. So you're driving a Lamborghini at a very fast speed, I press on the brake, you drive again, the momentum change. So the same thing goes for every one of us. We are aging very fast. So you're aging not like this, you're aging like this, you know? So I pull you up, you become younger, biologically you become younger by 8 to 10 years, you go constant and you start to drop. Each time you drop, I pull you back again. We are delaying the progression of the disease. We are extending the quality life in you and not just extension of your life. So extend the quality life, add more quality life to your extended years. This is important, okay? Now, next. So same with all the different organs. There's a peer-reviewed study on autism. We did it in UK. It's a peer review, and there's so many publications coming from us. We have 20 over publications. We wrote many books on autism and different types of disorder. Some of the books are there in UK printed. You can get it, and there's more cases coming in. These are some of the books. The coming 2 books will be on case studies and protocols. How do you treat different diseases? Okay, with the cells and the stem cells. Thank you so much. Okay.